بسم الله الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه كما يحبه ربنا ويرضاه. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله الناصح الأمين. اللهم صل على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تمسك بسنته إلى يوم الدين. ثم أما بعد. Inshallah ta'ala, in these next few minutes we want to give a light reminder bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was asked a tremendous question. The noble Sahabi, he said, قُلْ لِي فِي الْإِسْلَامِ قَوْلٍ, say to me a statement in Islam, قَوْلًا لَا أَسْأَلُ أَحَدًا بَعْدَكَ وفي رواية غَيْرَكَ, of which I won't have to ask nobody about it after you or other than you. Say to me a comprehensive statement of which I won't have to ask anyone about it other than you or after you. فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, so the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, he said, قُلْ آمَنْتُ بِاللَّهِ ثُمَّ اسْتَقِمْ, say, I believe in Allah and then become upright. وفي الرواية قُلْ آمَنْتُ بِاللَّهِ فَاسْتَقِمْ, say, I believe in Allah, then become upright. There's a lot of benefit that we gain from this hadith. فيه فوائد كثيرة منها. In one riwayah, قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, قل آمنت بالله فاستقم. فالفاء هنا, the fa here, we understand from it, نفهم منه الترتيب والتعقيب. We understand from it tartib and ta'qib. Tartib meaning that events will happen one after the other. Now we benefit this from the fa. And we understand from it تعقيب, لأن في الأول والثاني ما في مهلة. Between the first and the second there is no time period, there's no gap. There's no gap. That is consecutive, consistent, right? One after the other. There is a benefit in this, in that we understand that there are going to be some individuals who their benefit and their istiqamah will be immediate. قُلْ آمَنْتُ بِاللَّهِ فَاسْتَقِمْ, say I believe in Allah and then become upright. And we have certain ahadith which show this from the Sahaba, that they will accept Islam and then they will become upright immediately. Like for example, that one Sahabi who became Muslim during a ma'rika, during a battle, and he was eating some dates. He was eating some dates, and he said, لَإِنْ عِشْتُ حَتَّى آكِلُ هَذِهِ تَمْرَةً فَكَانَ حَيَاةٌ طَوِيلًا. He said, if I were to live to eat these dates, that would be a long life. فَرَامَ تَمْرَةً ثُمَّ دَخَلَ فِي الْمَعْرَكَةِ فَقُتِلَ. So he threw away the dates, he went into the battle to fight fi sabilillah, and he died. He died. He accepted Islam and immediately he was upon istiqamah. So we have examples which show this, that it's possible for a person to enter immediately into Islam. You understand this from this riwayah. قُلْ آمَنْتُ بِاللَّهِ فَاسْتَقِمْ, say I believe in Allah, آمَنْتُ بِاللَّهِ, and then become upright immediately. And then it comes the riwayah, قُلْ آمَنْتُ بِاللَّهِ فَاسْتَقِمْ, say, or ثُمَّ اسْتَقِمْ, afwan, say I believe in Allah, ثُمَّ اسْتَقِمْ, then become upright. وَثُمَّ نَفْهَمُ مِنْهُ التَّرْتِيبِ وَالتَّرَاخِي. ثُمَّ, on the other hand, is used, and we understand from it, tartib وَالتَّرَاخِي. A tartib meaning there's an order of events, and tarahi meaning that there's a time period between the two events. That between the statement amantu billah wal istiqama waqt, there's some time between the two. They're not immediate. It's not immediate. Naam. And it's the hal of the majority of the people, that then they become upright after some time. Naam. You'll find this becoming upright is something which would necessitate from us a number of things. And the implementation of this hadith will necessitate from us a number of things. From them is that the Prophet ﷺ, he said, قُلْ آمَنْتُ بِاللَّهِ, say I believe in Allah. وَالْإِيمَانِ مَبْنِي عَلَى الْعِلْمِ عِلْمُ النَّافِعِ, that Iman is built upon beneficial knowledge. Without ilm nafi', there can be no Iman. Because as we mentioned previously, كَيْفَ تُؤْمِنُ بِشَيْءٍ تَجْهَلُ, how you believe in something, you're ignorant about it. In order to believe in it, you have to have about it ilm. You have to have some ilm, some ma'rifah about it. Na'am. And this is something that is of extreme importance. So this necessitates what? Knowledge. It necessitates knowledge, that we seek knowledge and we have knowledge. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, يَرْفَعِ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مِنْكُمْ وَالَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْعِلْمَ دَرَجَاتٍ. Allah ta'ala, He says that those who believe from amongst you have been raised in levels, and those who have ilm above them in more levels. That Allah raises up the believers from amongst you and those who have ilm, those who have knowledge, in higher levels. Allah Ta'ala, He says, فَهَلْ يَسْتَوِي الَّذِينَ يَعْلَمُونَ وَالَّذِينَ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ, are they equal? Those who know and those who don't know, are they equal? And of course the answer is no, they're not equal, those who know and those who don't know. Because knowledge has with it a superiority. Because of what? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهَ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ الْعُلَمَاءِ, that verily those who fear Allah from His servants, they are only the ulama. Al-ulama. Na'am. So the ulama, they fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we understand from this the superiority, we see the superiority of the people of knowledge. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, مَن يُرِدِ اللَّهُ بِهِ خَيْرًا يُفَقِّهُ فِي الدِّينِ, whoever Allah was good for, He gives him understanding of the religion. وقال العلماء نفهم من هذا الفهم مضاد، أي من لا يرد الله به خيرا لا يفقه في الدين. The ulama, they say, we understand from this the opposite understanding, meaning that because the hadith says whoever Allah was good for, He gives him understanding of the religion. So now we understand the opposite, that he who Allah does not want good for, He does not give him understanding of the religion. He doesn't give him understanding of the religion. So we understand from this that يعني الفهم والتفهم في الدين هذا من علامة لأن الله تعالى يريد بهذا الشخص خيرا. This is a sign that Allah, the understanding of religion is a sign that Allah intends for this individual good. That Allah Ta'ala intends for this individual good, that he has understanding of the religion. Ala kullin, understanding of the religion, it necessitates from us a certain amount of action. And that is what? Is that we have to have ilm. We have to have ilm, we have to have knowledge. In order to attain that knowledge, we have to prioritize. And we have to know the importance of it and what knowledge is. Because when we say ilm, as the Allama Siddiq Hassan Khan, he points out, when we say ilm, مراد به علم الشرعي، مراد به علم الشرعي، وأي علم آخر لابد أن يضيف إليه حتى تبين المقصود. مثلا علم النفس أو علم الطب وما أشبه ذلك. He said that one is intended by knowledge. If you say knowledge by itself, then what's intended is legislative knowledge. Knowledge about the deen of al-Islam. That's what it means. So if you say knowledge by itself, ilm, then what's meant is the knowledge of the deen. Now, the knowledge of the deen. Whereas any other type of ilm, you have to specify that knowledge so that it can be made clear what you intend. So for example, you say ilm nafs, knowledge of psychology. Or you'll say ilm tib, knowledge of medicine. And so on and so forth. So I had to explain, we're talking about medicine, talking about psychology, and to the end of that. Now, so once we understand ilm and what we mean by it, ilm al-shar'i, legislative knowledge, and we understand our dire need for it, then we have to, when going to seek it, we have to prioritize. Because ilm is vast. Kal-bahr, it's like an ocean. So we have to prioritize when it comes to ilm. As the poet, he said, العلم إن طلبته طويل وعمرك لتحصيله قصير فَقَدَّمْ مِنْهُ بِالْأَهَامُ فَالْأَهَامُ. He said, knowledge, if you're going to seek it, is long. Because it's vast. Yeah? I mean, the road is long. It's so much. وَعُمْرُكَ لِتَحْصِيلِهِ قَصِيرٌ. But the lifespan on which you have been given in order to get it is short. You understand? It's short. So you don't have time really to play around. So therefore, فَقَدَّمْ مِنْهُ بِالْأَهَامُ فَالْأَهَامُ. So therefore, start with that which is important and then go to that which follows it in importance. So when it comes to ilm, ilm tafadul, there's of different types. Some ilm is better and takes precedence over other ilm and so on and so forth. Naam. So when it comes to the ilm al-shar'i, bila shak, what takes precedence is ilm al-tawheed. Tawheed awwalan. Tawheed is first. Naam. Tawheed is first. And I'll give you an example. Shaykh al-Bani, rahimahullah ta'ala, he mentioned that the ilm of aqeedah, and at the head of aqeedah is tawheed. It precedes knowledge of the Arabic language. It precedes knowledge of the Arabic language. It's more important than the Arabic language. Now, a person may say, Kayf hada. Like this. If a person, for example, was afsah min Sibawayh, if he was more eloquent than Sibawayh, which was one of the great grammarians of the Arabic language, right? But he did not implement Tawheed, his level of language won't benefit him. And what is the proof of this is look at Abu Jahl. Na'am. Abu Jahl was fasih. He was very eloquent in the Arabic language. But did that level of fasah, did that level of eloquence benefit him? No. Why? Because he didn't believe. He didn't implement the Tawheed. He didn't have no Tawheed. But he had all this eloquency. So eloquency in the Arabic language won't benefit. So if a person could, as they say, i'rab himself to the moon and back, na'am, but he's not implementing the Tawheed, then his knowledge of the Arabic language won't avail him Yawm al-Qiyamah. So when a person understands this, then where are you going to put more emphasis? In Arabiya, في اللغة, أو في العقيدة. أولا في العقيدة. Because if a person meets Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وهو من أعجم العجميين, he's from the most non-Arab of the non-Arabs, right? But yet he implements the Tawheed. He understands the Tawheed, he implements the Tawheed, he believes in Tawheed, and he implements the correctness, so on and so forth, stays away from shirk and that, this person will benefit, even though he don't know an alif from a ba, from a ta, from a ya. He will benefit because he is upon the Tawheed. So if a person understanding that, we don't know when the day is going to be our last. Maybe today is our last day, we don't know. Nah, maybe tomorrow's our last day, we don't know. So therefore you have to go with that which is most important. That which is most important. Now, we understand this when it comes to dunya, but sometimes we forget when it comes to deen. You understand? If your house was burning down, or the tornado was coming, or the earthquake, or the hurricane was coming on this, right? And you had a limited amount of time to get some things out. What is the first things you're going to be running for? The safe or whatever has your important documents. Be it your passport, your birth certificates, bank records, whatever. This is what you want to go for first. You understand? Now what about a person runs inside the house now? You only have a little bit of time. The house is going to burn down. That's it. But he runs inside the house and he runs to the kitchen. And he starts taking like this. And you say, what are you doing? He said, I'm grabbing all the spoons, all the soup spoons. You're going to say to him, what are you talking about, the soup spoons? It's more important stuff to be getting right now at the house than the soup spoons. Get the other stuff. If we got time, then we grab the soup spoon in the whole drawer, whatever, no problem. But it's more important things we had to get right now. And maybe the person had, $10,000 under his pillow or under his bed and that. That's one of the first things he wants to get. You understand what I mean? The student of knowledge, he's going to run and try to be getting all the books he can possibly can, and so on and so forth. And like this, because you want to, and then if you have time left, okay, now maybe you go back and you'll get that vase your wife like, and maybe, the favorite pillow and whatever. But the reality is that you're going to start with that which is most important. So likewise, when it comes to ilm, in order to benefit and to gain benefit from ilm, you have to start with that which is most important. And that which is most important, bila shak, is ilm al-tawheed. So we have to prioritize when it comes to seeking of knowledge. Because it can become overwhelming when you look and see all of the sciences, all of the things that is to learn, and so on and so forth. What exactly do we concentrate on first? Where do we start? Where do we begin? You begin with tawheed. You begin with tawheed. Now, and beginning with tawheed means you begin with knowing the meaning of la ilaha illallah. Ma'na la ilaha illallah. Na'am. And after you know the meaning of La ilaha illallah, la ma'buda bihaqqin illallah, then you have to know the arkan of La ilaha illallah, wal muqtada, La ilaha illallah, wal shurut, La ilaha illallah. You have to know what are the pillars of La ilaha illallah. What are that was necessitated by La ilaha illallah. What are the conditions for La ilaha illallah? Because as the one from the Salafy was asked, ألا لا إله إلا الله مفتاح الجنة. He said, بلى ولكن لكل مفتاح الأسنان. He says, is it not true that La ilaha illallah is the key for Jannah? He says, yes, but every key has teeth. Every key has teeth. نعم. And the teeth, the shurut of La ilaha illallah, muqtadaha, arkanuha, wa mashbaha dhalika. نعم. So this is important. This is what a person wants to start. Make sure you know these things inside and out. Then you go to Muhammad Rasulullah, and so on and so forth. You learn these affairs of Aqidah and affairs of Tawheed, so you know what is a Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. You know what some proofs and evidences. You know what it is a Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah, with some proofs and evidences. You know what it is a Tawheed al-Asma wa-Sifat, with some proofs and evidences, and so on and so forth. And this is how you begin, and you go in order of importance to gain benefit, inshallah ta'ala. Also, is that you have to, in seeking ilm, you have to be patient, have sabr, and you have to take everything bit by bit, as we mentioned a little while ago. Because as it comes, Ibn Shihab al-Zuhri, as it comes in Kitab al-Jami' Ibn Abd al-Barr, rahimahumullah ta'ala, he said, "Man rama in jumlatan, dhahaba anhu jumlatan." Whoever tried to take ilm all at one time, and leave him all at one time. Naam? Because he won't be able to get it. It's too much for him. It's too much for him. Naam? So you have to prioritize. You have to start with the mukhtasarat, the small books, concise. Then you move on to those that are slightly bigger. We'll give you a little more detail. Then move on to those that are slightly bigger than that, give you a little more detail, and so on and so forth. So for example, when it comes to hadith, memorization of hadith, you start with the Arba'in of Imam al-Nawawi. That's what you start with, 40 hadith. Now, after 40 hadith, then you do the mutammamat that Ibn al-Rajbi brought, the extra hadith to make it 50. Now, after you get to 50, then you go to Umdat al-Ahkam, 400 sama hadith. Now, after you do that, then you move on to either Bulugh al-Maram, or you move on to Riyad al-Salihin, which is slightly bigger, and so on and so forth. For example, a person doesn't start and says, I want to memorize the Musnad of Imam Ahmad. That's going to be the first book I memorize. The Musnad of Imam Ahmad is volumes. You don't start like that. You start little. Likewise, when it comes to the ilm tafsir, you don't start with tafsir al-Tabari. Tafsir al-Tabari, this is like the tafsir. This is like the mother of the tafsir. You don't start here. But rather you start with mukhtasarat. You start, for example, with طيب لا بأس إن شاء الله هذا أحسن لي أحسن طيب. You start, for example, with تفسير Imam Sa'di. Then after that, تفسير Ibn Kathir, and so on and so forth, until you get to the point of تفسير al-Tabari. So you have to take bit by bit, small, and then what is bigger, and so on and so forth. Now you have to have a system of gradual increase, tadarruj, gradual increase system, inshallah ta'ala, so that you will benefit bi'ithnillahi ta'ala from that which it is you're seeking, and so on and so forth. And then of course, bila shak, we have to apply the equation of success that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teaches us in Surah Al-Asr. Allah ta'ala says, وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَالتَّوَاصُوا بِالْحَقِّ وَالتَّوَاصُوا بِالصَّبْرِ. Na'am. That by the token of time, really mankind is in a state of loss. All of mankind. Except for those who believe. Ma'am, قُلْ آمَنْتُ بِاللَّهِ وَالْإِيمَانِ مَبْنِعًا عَلَى الْعِلْمِ. Iman is built upon knowledge. So you got to have knowledge. Ilm. Na'am. Got to have ilm. طيب. ثُمَّ عَمَلُ الصَّالِحِ. Because ilm doesn't benefit you if you don't act upon it. It's like a person who has knowledge that he should breathe, but then he don't breathe. He's going to die. His knowing that he should breathe is not going to prevent him from suffocating. He has to breathe. He has to live. He has to act upon that knowledge in the life. Okay? So we have to act upon that knowledge. And we have to be patient upon acting upon the knowledge. But then likewise, Islam is not a deen that calls us to be stingy. So it's not sufficient that we just have this knowledge and we act upon it and we benefit in ourselves, but rather we have to call others to it. وَتَوَصَّى بِالْحَقِّ. You have to call others to it. You have to call the good, forbid evil. Naam, this is important. You can't just keep it to yourself. And then you have to have patience. And as Sheikh, the Allama, Muhammad Aman al-Jami, he points out, patience is needed at every step and every stage. You have to have patience with seeking knowledge. If you're not patient in seeking knowledge, you won't be patient upon acting upon knowledge. But if you're patient in seeking it, you'll be patient in acting upon it. If you're patient in acting upon it, you'll be patient in calling to it. If you're not patient in these first two, you won't be patient in the third. Naam. And you won't be patient about the harms that come to you by way of calling to that knowledge and the like. So if we're going to benefit, if we're going to implement this hadith, then we need the likes of these things which were mentioned if we're going to actualize belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and then becoming upright. We have to have these things in which we mentioned and more. But this is just a reminder, a small benefit بإذن الله تعالى. فنكتفي بهذا القدر وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.